Okay, so let's unpack this. We wanted to do a deep dive into what seems like, well, an unstoppable force at one particular award show, Taylor Swift at the American Music Awards.
That's right. We've looked through the material you provided, really focusing on her dominance at the AMAs. The goal is to pull out the key facts, the insights to understand this record-breaking history she has there.
Exactly. So our mission is pretty clear. Go through the facts, the numbers, those big performances, even the, behind the scenes stuff mentioned in the sources. We want to give you a really clear picture of her impact on the AMAs specifically.
And understanding this, based on the analysis in the material, it offers some fascinating glimpses, doesn't it, into the music industry now, fan power, and just the path of a huge modern artist. Definitely worth digging into.
Absolutely. So let's jump straight in with the undeniable proof. The numbers, this is where it gets really interesting. Taylor Swift isn't just like a frequent winner. The material says she is the most awarded artist in AMA history.
Yeah, that's the big headline the material emphasizes. As of 2024, she holds 40 AMA wins. 40.
40. Wow.
It's a number that, really puts her in a category all by herself.
40 wins. Just saying it sounds huge. And the material points out that means she's gone past legends like Michael Jackson, like Whitney Houston. This isn't just beating current stars. This is actually rewriting the history books against icons.
And the key moment the sources really zero in on was back in 2019. That's when she broke Michael Jackson's record, which stood at 24 wins for a long time.
Right. How does she do it?
He took home 6 awards. 6 in just one night.
6 awards in one go in 2019. And that included the big one, Artist of the Decade that year.
You did.
The material you shared mentioned her reaction to apparently a very humble speech acknowledging Michael Jackson's legacy even as she surpassed his record, which is, quite something.
It is. And what's fascinating, and the sources really underscore this, is that it wasn't just a one-off peak. Her success kept going. Like more recently, in 2022, the material notes she won all 6 awards she was nominated for.
6 for 6 in 2022. That kind of sweep is just incredible.
Yeah.
And there was a specific example mentioned, favorite pop album for Red, Taylor's version. That win really says something about her re-recordings and how they resonate, doesn't it? Especially in this fan-voted context.
It absolutely does. And the material brings up a really important point about sustained popularity. It's not just a flash in the pan. She also holds another huge record, Artist of the Year. 7 times.
7 times.
7 times. More than any other artist.
Ever. 7 Artist of the Year wins. It's almost hard to process that level of consistent recognition from a show where fans are the voters. So, okay, looking at all these awards, the 40 total, 7 Artists of the Year wins, breaking MJ's record, what does the material suggest this tells us about her career path, her ability to stay so popular for so long? It feels like more than just being hot right now.
Well, the material really posits it as proof of a career built not just on hits, but on constant evolution, adaptation, and crucially, maintaining this incredibly deep, engaged connection with her audience through different phases, different sounds. It's the long game, played exceptionally well.
Speaking of sounds and phases, let's shift from the awards themselves to what happens on stage, because the sources highlighted her performances too.
Yes. Because the awards are, the stats, but her AMA performances, according to your material, that's where the spectacle really happens. They're described as legendary. She always puts on a show.
Definitely. The 2019 Artist of the Decade medley comes up as a prime example.
It does. Featured a whole medley of her biggest hits, obviously. But it was more than just the songs, wasn't it?
Right. The material emphasized how she recreated those iconic looks from different eras. You had the fearless, sparkly dress, right? The 1989 squad vibe.
The Reputation snake energy.
Exactly. It was described as a full-on nostalgia trip, like a visual walk through her career.
And the sources were clear. Even with all that visual stuff happening, the vocals were apparently flawless. But what's also highlighted about that 2019 performance is the context around it. Your sources mentioned the whole controversy with Scooter Braun and Scott Borchetta.
Oh, yeah. About performing her old songs.
Exactly. That whole situation was massive at the time.
And the material notes, the fan reaction, remember, hashtag I Stand With Taylor was trending everywhere. Yet, even with all that drama swirling, she still delivered this amazing career-spanning performance. It shows a certain resilience, maybe?
I think so. Turning a really difficult public situation into a powerful artistic statement on stage. Another standout performance mentioned in your material was 2014 Blank Space.
Oh, that one was pure theater. I remember reading about that. The material highlighted all the theatrical bits, like, didn't she smash a cake?
Yes, specific details like the smash cake. It really captured that whole evil billionaire vibe persona he was playing with then. And then there was 2013, I Knew You Were Trouble. The sources pointed out the rock vibe she brought to that one.
Right. Showing that ability to kind of genre bend, push boundaries, even relatively early in her big pop crossover.
Yeah, it signaled she wasn't just going to stay in one lane.
Okay, so considering these performances described in the material, the nostalgia, the theater, the genre shifts, how do these live moments serve as snapshots? How do they reflect her evolving art and image over the years?
Oh, the material suggests they're not just random performances, they're very deliberate. They align perfectly with whatever her current artistic story or public image is. Each one is like a distinct chapter, visually and sonically, representing that specific phase of her career. It lets fans connect with her evolution on this huge AMA stage.
Which makes sense. And that kind of brings us to maybe the most critical factor identified in your sources for why she dominates the AMAs so much.
The core reason, yeah. Mentioned again and again in the material you provided. Her fans. The Swifties.
It's presented as basically undeniable, isn't it?
Pretty much. The material is very clear. Right. The American Music Awards are fan-voted. That's the whole mechanism. It's built on audience engagement.
And your sources describe that engagement in pretty strong terms, like calling the fans a force, noting how they mobilize, they vote like crazy crash websites sometimes.
Right. Spamming votes.
And just pushing relentlessly to make sure she sweeps categories. It's not passive, it's like active campaigning.
And this level of really organized, passionate support is something the material stresses as just a unique driver of success, especially in a fan-voted system like this.
Yeah.
Your sources give a great example. She won Favorite Music Video for All Too Well 10-minute version in 2021, even though she wasn't even there.
She wasn't even at the show.
Nope. The material emphasizes that win happened purely because the fans mobilized, just out of sheer love for that song and that specific video.
That's incredible. Winning purely on fan votes when you're not in the building. And your sources also talk about her connection with the fans, right? Describing her speeches as heartfelt, how she thanks them directly by name sometimes.
Yeah, talks about their impact on her life, makes them feel genuinely seen, appreciated. And this deep connection, it's crucial. The material sums it up perfectly. In a fan-voted award show, this bond is why she keeps winning. It's not just about the music quality or industry nods. It's the strength of that relationship translating directly into the votes.
So based on this picture painted in your sources, what can we kind of learn about that artist-audience relationship from Taylor and the Swifties? Especially in a system designed for fan input. It sounds like a unique kind of ecosystem.
The material suggests it's this powerful feedback loop, where that authentic connection builds extreme dedication, and then that dedication leads directly to measurable success, like winning AMAs. It really highlights how modern success, at least in some areas, is as much about nurturing that direct fan relationship as it is about just releasing music.
Makes sense. Of course, maintaining that kind of public profile doesn't happen without, well, some notable moments, sometimes a bit of drama, too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Your sources acknowledge her AMA history isn't just awards and performances. There are moments of controversy, intrigue. While the famous Kanye VMA moment wasn't at the AMAs, the material did mention her calling out Netflix.
Right, at the 2020 AMAs. For that joke about her dating life.
Exactly. Showing she's willing to publicly push back on things she doesn't agree with.
Stand her ground.
Yeah. And, like we touched on with the performance, the material brought up the 2019 Scooter Braun Scott Borchetta situation again, framing it as a major public moment tied directly to her AMA appearance that year. Added a layer of real-world tension.
Definitely. And then there's the more fun kind of intrigue, the Easter egg thing your sources mentioned.
Oh, yes.
The material talked about fans decoding her 2021 AMAs outfit, thinking it was a hint for 1989, Taylor's version.
And they were right.
Which they were when she announced it later.
The material specifically calls her a master of Easter eggs, even in award shows. It's presented as just another layer of engagement, right? Like a coded language with her most dedicated fans, adding this whole treasure hunt feel to her appearances.
It's like she's always interacting with them on multiple levels. So how do these moments, the public call-outs, navigating the industry stuff, dropping little hints, how do they contribute to her overall story and deepen that connection with fans, according to your sources?
Well, the material implies these moments build authenticity, perhaps. Stand your ground shows strength, maybe some relatability. And the Easter eggs create this sense of being an insider, a shared secret almost. It rewards fans for paying close attention.
Makes them feel part of the journey.
Exactly, which just reinforces the bond that fuels her success in that fan-voted space.
Okay, so we've covered the record-breaking numbers, the iconic performances, the huge power of the Swifties, and these key moments, all based on the material you shared. Now let's look ahead, drawing from the perspective in your sources. What could be next for Taylor at the AMAs?
Well, the material points straight at the release of the Tortured Poets Department. That's the big recent event.
And based on that, it offers a pretty clear prediction, doesn't it?
Yeah, the material basically predicts she will likely sweep the 2024 AMAs because of the impact and, well, the sheer popularity of this new album.
Sweep the 2024 AMAs. Wow. And it adds another prediction. She'll probably break another record while she's doing it.
Which, given her history that the sources lay out, feels less like a bold prediction and more like, well, an expectation at this point, maybe.
The pattern is definitely there, as your sources note.
Right. And the possibilities for future performances based on the materials ideas sound exciting to expect it to be, next level. Perhaps another huge medley, a surprise guest. Or maybe using the stage for a big announcement, like another re-recording reveal. She's done that kind of thing before.
With Taylor, yeah, anything feels possible on that stage. And the material's final thought on her AMA future is pretty simple but says a lot. With Taylor, expect the unexpected.
Seems like a good summary of her whole approach, really, to her career, to these award shows, always finding ways to surprise and engage.
So given this trajectory, this established pattern of just consistently breaking records, the incredible strength of her fans, and the material's prediction for more dominance with the Tortured Poets Department, what does the future of her AMA reign really look like from this perspective?
Based on your sources, it looks like continued success, maybe even escalating success, likely setting records for total wins, for Artist of the Year wins. That will be incredibly hard for anyone else to ever even get close to, let alone beat.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on. Something building on everything we've just unpacked from your material. Considering this pattern of record breaking, the unmatched power of her fans in this specific voting system, and the source's prediction for continued dominance, is there actually a realistic limit to how many American Music Awards she could win? And what does that potential future even look like for the show itself if one artist accumulates such a truly massive number of awards?
It's a question that really speaks to how superstardom works now and how award shows function in this digital fan-driven age.
Absolutely. So we've pulled back the curtain on the key facts, the insights from the source material you provided, hopefully giving you a clear picture of her unprecedented run at the AMAs. Her journey there is really defined by those record-shattering wins, the unforgettable performances often tied to public moments, the undeniable mobilized power of her fans, and just this constant anticipation for whatever she's going to do next.
That's the essence of our deep dive into a remarkable AMA reign, based on the material you wanted to explore today.